What is up, guys? Today we've got a viewer submission that's either the clearest Bigfoot photo ever taken or just another sophisticated hoax. Late last month, wildlife photographer Marcus Chen was testing out all the new 2025 camera equipment from his sponsors. He set up camp and unpacked everything in Washington's Olympic National Forest. At around 2 a.m., his motion sensors triggered, causing his phone to light up and awake him. What he sees on the image is a massive figure, gleaming eyes, and jet black fur. The creature's face has an almost human-like expression. Marcus couldn't believe his eyes. Mind you, Marcus has 6 or 8 cameras set up all over the perimeter of his campsite. He's not there on some expedition, he's really just testing the equipment through the night. He might have just captured the jackpot. Now, if I could just play devil's advocate for a second, here's where I have some questions. First, I think this is incredible, but I also feel like this thing is remarkably well groomed for a wild creature. Maybe it's just the way the light is hitting its fur, but if we zoom into its face, it's almost like he took a trip to the barber, got his beard groomed. Now, on the flip side of that, this creature is very broad and looks very strong, so this would be heck of a suit that someone would have to fill out. I'll leave this one to you guys. Drop your comments below, and thank you for sending this in, Marcus. When Reddit user Darkroom227 and his family moved into their Victorian-era home last month, his kids started the usual process of exploring the property. Well, amongst some of the previous owners' left behind items, the kids found a single photograph. The image shows what appears to be a woman, but something is terrifyingly wrong. Where one of her eyes should be, there's nothing but a dark, empty socket. She has a creepy, wide smile, and her hands? What is going on there? I mean, it looks like she has 6 or 7 fingers on that one. But here's what makes this truly unsettling. In the background, we can see the exact same wallpaper that is all through the top floor, and that's still in the house today. However, we notice that picture frame on the wall. The uploader says that that frame in the picture was hanging empty in their daughter's room when they moved in. Another creepy thing that he mentioned is that if you look in the photo over, I guess, her right shoulder, the opposite way of which she's leaning. He said that there's a closet there and the door was locked, they couldn't get in it upon arrival. He eventually cut the lock off and it was just a small room, about the size of a jail cell, and he said it could have been used as a closet. But for me, whatever that thing in the picture is, that's where it lived. I'm convinced of that. This clip here is a photograph that might be the follow-up to the most famous Bigfoot footage ever captured. Just 1 year after the legendary Patterson-Gimlin film shocked the world, photographer Thomas Anderson ventured into Northern California's Bluff Creek area. Armed with professional camera equipment, he spent weeks tracking something in these remote woods. So one night, deep in the wilderness, Anderson heard unusual guttural sounds echoing through the darkness. The next morning, movement caught his eye. What his camera captured is extraordinary. A massive figure covered in dark hair stands partially hidden behind the trees. Anderson freezes, staying still. The creature moves into a clearing. It can only be one thing. Broad-shouldered, hairy, arms extending down to the creature's knees. A feature commonly seen in Bigfoot but impossible to replicate in a typical costume. After he was able to capture some photos, the Bigfoot lumbered off into the woods. The following weeks in town, Anderson tried multiple attempts to share this evidence. However, no one was interested. These photos remained hidden for years, and many experts say that this really could be the clearest glimpse of the same creature caught on the Patterson-Gimlin film. I feel like this is pretty compelling footage. I would love to know your thoughts on this. Don't we have enough crazy stuff going on in this world? Now the earth is trying to eat our pets. I've seen similar clips to this, but it does make me wonder, is this real? Because I feel like those trees should just topple over if their roots aren't connected. Maybe I'm missing something. This next clip shows official government footage that we need to take a look at. The Washington State Department of Transportation's cameras at Sherman Pass captured something walking through the snow. And it doesn't take long for our brains to trigger and take us to one place and one place only. Watch carefully as our subject moves across the frame. At first glance, I'm thinking what everybody else is thinking. As we zoom in to take another look, we don't really get definitive evidence. Something about this isn't selling me though. Look here, notice how the figure deliberately turns to face the camera? It's almost like they're making sure they've been spotted. The gait is distinctly human, with none of the characteristic arm length or knee flexion we typically see in authentic Bigfoot footage. Not the fluid movement we'd expect from a natural creature, more typical of a person in a costume. I had high hopes for this one. I love these ones that are taken on government footage or on cameras that never move or not on trail or game paths. But then again, I guess you run the risk of someone taking advantage of a well-known camera location. And please share your thoughts below, especially if there's something you think I missed. A young teenager filming his mountain biking trek through the woods is startled when he catches something out of the corner of his eye. Jacob, an aspiring YouTuber, films all of his rides. He has 5 different places he goes to and just rotates them on the times that he rides. As Jacob is riding, off to the right of our screen, you can see a creature emerge from the woods. Pale, emaciated, big bug eyes. Jacob claims he was so startled he almost fell off his bike. Luckily, he snapped out of it and was able to turn around and speed back down the hill. He was so legitimately scared that when he got home and went inside, he left his phone attached to his bike. Had completely forgotten that he might have captured this creature on his recording. And capture it he did. One of the things I'm very conscious of when making these videos is how much I talk. YouTube likes us to, but I want to let the video do the talking. I don't think I need to explain every nuance of the video. However, when I stumble on someone like this, I'm sorry, you think you have a tiger in your backyard? A tiger? So you've never seen a tiger? You have no idea that a tiger has stripes? How did you make it this far in life? Well, sir, what you've actually captured there is just the common house cat. Nothing to be worried about. Speaking of tigers, check this guy out. Black tigers, often called pseudomelanistic tigers, exhibit thick dark stripes on a nearly invisible orange background. They are so rare that not many people have studied them. The instances that these beautiful creatures pop up are usually on trail cams in India, just like this one. This ghostly apparition triggered a North Carolina man's trail cam. He's pretty dead set on this being a ghost. I'll let you guys debate that, but the way I see it, either way this is pretty creepy. Someone said they can see a figure running through the woods, but I can't see that. It might just be a floating piece of fog, but it looks like a ghost. This next clip shows some guys drag racing, raising hell on the highways. But that's not really the part we're focusing in on. I'm more focused on where that dog teleported from. How did that thing end up in the middle of the road? This clip went viral online, and all of the participants that were there that night claim they saw no dog. It appears the camera operator didn't even see it. Anyhow, let me know if you know the answer to this or you're as confused as I am. Said to have been taken from a doorbell camera in the mountains of Colorado. The uploader said that he was alerted to movement on his deck and saw this big, upright walking, Bigfoot-like creature. I would say this guy fits the bill. As I dug into the comments though, a lot of people are saying that this is AI generated. What do you guys think? Probably is a little too good to be true. Have you ever noticed certain strange images that appear after accident scenes? You might have seen something like this pop up online. Yes, the focus is often on the accident, but there's something else that grabs attention. Look closely at the photo. Do you see a figure perhaps resembling a man or some kind of humanoid creature standing on or near the vehicle? Many have reported seeing this phenomenon in photos of accident sites. It's odd because this figure or being wasn't visible during the actual event, only later when reviewing the pictures. These mysterious figures often appear alone, watching the scene. Sometimes they're dressed in dark clothing, and on rare occasions they may even be holding a scythe, reminiscent of the Grim Reaper, a symbol of death that's been deeply embedded in folklore for centuries. The Grim Reaper is traditionally depicted as a skeletal figure in a hooded robe, and is believed to arrive when someone's life has come to an end, escorting their soul to the afterlife. Some people speculate that these images may capture the souls of the victims as they depart, while others remain unsure of what's truly being shown. It's an eerie mystery that leaves much room for interpretation. What do you think is really happening in these strange photos? Someone recently uploaded a video online claiming they spotted a strange creature staring at them through their door. Naturally, seeing something like this would send a chill down anyone's spine. The figure appeared to be some sort of dark, shadowy being, as if it had emerged from another dimension, hungry for flesh and bone. I mean, if anyone saw such a thing outside their door, panic would be the only natural reaction. I was about to dive into my own theory on what it might be when I saw a particular commenter's opinion. He pointed out that an ordinary dog could look like this when recorded through thermal imaging. He also mentioned that similar effects could be achieved by applying filters and post-production edits to the video. So, after hearing that, I couldn't view the clip the same way. I mean, what if he's right, and it's just someone trying to pull a prank for a few moments of internet fame? They're 15 minutes of glory. But then again, what if he's wrong? What if there really is some kind of nocturnal creature that looks like this? Anyhow, I can't seem to shake that unsettling thought. What do you all think? Prank or something more sinister?
What?
Somebody's in the window keeping up.
No, there's not.
We heard a ticking clock.
Don't go nowhere. Stay right here.
All right, check this out. A father was at home when he suddenly heard his daughter shouting for him, claiming there was someone behind the window. In the footage, you can see the figure quickly run off as soon as her father appears, prompting him to rush over to check outside. However, he finds nothing out of the ordinary. Puzzled, he steps outside to investigate further, but there's no one in sight. It's only when he comes back inside and reviews the footage that the unsettling truth becomes apparent. Upon closer inspection, the figure that moved away from the window didn't look human. It had an alien-like head with large, pitch-black eyes. The sight is both eerie and perplexing, leaving the father and those who watched the video feeling uneasy. What was this strange figure? Was it an alien spying on them, or just a neighbor pulling a bizarre prank? Okay, so for me, I love casual footage that picks up something crazy or scary in the background, but when you're showing us a video of your daughter yelling for you and you are recording, I just think that's weird. If I hear my daughter scream about someone lurking outside her window, yeah, I'm not grabbing my phone. If you get my drift.
Ai, meu Deus do céu! Vocês estão entendendo o quanto de jacaré tem aqui? Ai, meu Deus. Eu tô na barraca literalmente pra acampar. Vamos dormir aqui, guys? Teu cu.
Camping can be an exciting adventure, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And this story perfectly illustrates why. Picture yourself in the wilderness, enjoying the peacefulness of nature, only to be startled awake in the middle of the night by unsettling noises. This is exactly what one man experienced during his camping trip. As he cautiously peeked outside his tent, his heart most likely stopped. Yeah, there was a group of crocodiles lurking just outside, waiting to eat him. That's what they're waiting for. There's no other explanation, okay? The realization that you're surrounded by these apex predators with only a thin tent separating you from them it's enough to make anyone think twice about camping ever again. And yeah, while nature can be both beautiful and calming, stories like this reminds me that it's unpredictable and can be very dangerous. So tell me, are you packing up and getting out of here? I would have to say, I would rather have 10 armed combatants at my tent door than those crocodiles. Hungry cannibals and whatever else you can think of, but not crocodiles. Check this out. We've got one of those clips that makes you do a double take just to be sure you saw what you think you did. Looky here, what do you think that is? It's not every day you step outside and spot a strange creature perched in a tree near your house. The person who uploaded the video was both confused and a tad frightened, seeking answers and wondering if she was safe or needed to consider moving, and I don't blame her. Once the video went live, it sparked various theories. Some thought it might be an otherworldly being watching her from the trees, while others had a more down-to-earth explanation, suggesting it could just be mango thieves hiding out when they heard her approaching. Mango thieves may sound plausible, but those eyes don't quite look human, at least from my perspective. But you've seen the clip. What's your take on it? This next clip is more of a story, told by a man who says that a Bigfoot smashed into the side of his vehicle. He sent this into Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, and here was his quote. "While driving through a rocky pass in the mountains, all of a sudden I was struck by something huge. Initially I thought perhaps it was a boulder that came off the mountain. While I thought that would be weird, it wasn't totally out of the realm of possibility. As it pushed my truck off track, I glanced into the rearview mirror. I was able to see a big hairy creature getting back to his feet and scampering off the road. Needless to say, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. When he got to the other side of the road, he glanced at my vehicle, and through the rearview mirror it was like we locked eyes. He started chasing the vehicle on all fours. I hightailed it out of there, and after a few twists and turns I lost him. I pulled into the ranger station, but no one was there. My window was shattered, so I was afraid to stay in my vehicle. I went into the bathroom and was able to lock the door shut." The man went on to say that only his family believes him. The park rangers don't. He also says he's been to years and years of therapy, and he knows what chased him, and he knows it wasn't a bear. Bears don't have faces like this. "I've lived with these memories for over 20 years, and this is my first time telling this story. I hope you enjoy it." Our first clip is from Trailcam Dad, and he's captured some amazing footage. The video starts with the elk feeding on some low vegetation towards the end of the day. You can tell they sense something. Something is hitting their nostrils. One of the cow makes an alert sound, and they all take off. And here comes the lion through the brush. As we watch it again, the cow closest to the screen makes the alert, but her back is facing where the lion came from. I wonder how she knows not to run that way. I guess it could just be instinctual. I'd love to know what experienced elk hunters and wildlife enthusiasts think the reason is. I grew up in an area that had wild horses, so when I saw this trail cam capturing horses running midday, I was intrigued. As they gallop by, you can notice the foal bringing up the rear, and that's why they're running. I imagine the foal was the bear's target. It's always great to see a glimpse into nature, and further proof that unless you have 4 legs, it's pretty hard to escape a bear. This is an interesting video here. A young boy and his father are exploring in Yellowstone National Park. As they're admiring the beautiful elk, the boy spots a creature behind the elk. Dad zooms in on the elk grazing and slows the video down. Circled in red, you can see the creature in the background. It appears he's in between a cluster of logs, foraging for something maybe. It's a little too far away to see it clearly, but the boy and his dad were adamant that it was a Bigfoot. I'm not here to tell them what they saw, and honestly, I can't even tell. My only real hang-up is that if it were a predator, the elk don't seem to care much. It appears they don't even notice that something is back there. Or, if it is a Bigfoot, maybe they don't view him as a predator. I'd be interested in what you all think about this. And can anyone make out what that creature is? This is an absolutely incredible event. A man is awakened by some commotion on his deck, so he goes to investigate. And wouldn't you know it, a mountain lion is standing there and has killed and dragged an elk onto his deck. Unbelievable. As the man films, the lion gives him a hiss, hoping he'll leave and let him eat in peace. I'm so interested in how all of this went down. If the struggle took place nearby and the cat dragged the elk there, or if it took place right in the guy's backyard. What do you guys think the timeline of events was? You can faintly see some light blood in the snow as the lion walks away. I wonder if he has an injury. Most importantly, I hope the lion is able to eat this, as I know he or she expended a lot of energy to kill that elk. These apex predators fail much more than you might expect, so like I said, a lot of energy was burned. If it was me, I'd call some buddies, load it up in the truck, and drag it out in the woods and let nature take its course. Nonetheless, an extraordinary camera capture. As a man named Wyatt drove down a rural road on a dark June night in 2021, the only thing illuminating his way was the beam of his headlights. As he continued, suddenly something strange caught his eye, darting across the road with lightning speed. At first he couldn't make out what it was, but upon reviewing the footage captured by his dash cam, he realized it was something truly terrifying. The creature, resembling something between a dragon and a gigantic mantis, is unexplainable. Wyatt had a passenger with him that night, and he had never seen anything like it either. Currently, this being remains a mystery to this day. Has anyone seen anything like this before? This video, recorded by a Florida man, shows him passing by a seemingly very common sight, a flock of birds in the sky. However, upon closer inspection, he realizes that the birds are not moving and appear to be frozen in time. It is highly unusual for a bird to be able to suspend itself in the sky without flapping its wings, and especially uncommon for a large flock of crows, which are known to constantly flap their wings to stay aloft. Are we witnessing a real-life glitch in the Matrix? When a forest gets really quiet, it always gives me the creeps. And recently it seems like every forest and town has a scary story attached to it, whether it's real or a myth. Well, recently, a man named Don was walking in the woods when he stumbled upon a creature unlike any he had ever seen before. It moved in a way that was not human or animal-like. As Don was filming, he cautiously crept up on the creature, which was ape-like but had very long and bent arms and legs and was hunched over. Some have suggested it could be a Sasquatch, but what I notice is the arms and hands. They're like nothing I've ever seen. It almost looks like some type of alien to me. The creature's gigantic sloth-like arms had no fingers, and it walked deeper and deeper into the forest. And Don didn't dare follow it. It's hard to say what this creature could be. Some have suggested it could be a deformed monkey or ape, or even a sick bear, but it seems far too thin and lumbering to be a bear. It also seemed to walk on two legs, almost like a human, but again almost alien-like. Others have been referring to this creature as a forest humanoid angel. I'm not sure why anyone would describe this as an angel, but I definitely believe in humanoids. A GoPro attached to a man's helmet shows him mountain biking down a trail. Holy hell. Was anyone fast enough to see that? Let's watch again. A startled deer collides with a mountain biker on a secluded trail, sending both the man, his bike, and the elk tumbling. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported. In 2011, a farmer in a small village in Russia reported that his home was shaken by a sudden explosion. As he went outside and searched for the source of the blast, he stumbled upon a strange set of remains. The creature had an unusual head, and an even more peculiar torso and limbs. Its petrified state was also quite perplexing. The entire shape of the creature is intriguing. The farmer was said to be drying corn at the same time, which makes this even more odd. I don't think I would personally store an alien-like creature next to a potential food source. While it's difficult to say for sure without proper scientific examination, it's possible that this could be an unidentified extinct animal. With the Arctic warming twice as fast as the global average, it's likely that we may see more strange creatures emerging from the permafrost in the future. This next clip comes to us from the Daily Vale in Colorado, and what you see on camera needs no introduction. As you can see, a mountain lion has sauntered into a ground floor ski chalet, which appears to have no doors. Look, I understand ski in and ski out, but one door wouldn't hurt. Anyhow, the cat meanders around the hallway undetected, just checking things out, and somehow he must have gotten stuck in there, because he eventually even spends the night, curled up down at the end of the hall. The next morning when the sun rises, the cat is looking for an escape. The cat continues to wander the halls, and you see a man stick his head out of his doorway. Looks like he and his son are going to hit the slopes. They duck back into their place as the cat hisses at them. And you can see the cat is frantic to get out of there and can't quite figure out the glass. He can see the outside, but he can't get there. Moments later, a couple comes back in with groceries or something, and a lady and her dog casually walk out for her dog to use the bathroom and start their day. And here comes the lion. As soon as the lion hits the threshold, you can see that he spots the two, likely still very close to the entrance, as he crouches down into a pounce position. As we fast forward, the lady eventually gathers her dog back in, after likely coming face to face with the lion. She motions to another resident and says, "There's a big bobcat." "No ma'am, that's no bobcat." Luckily, it seems as no one has been hurt though. Now, if I could, let's run through a scenario really quickly. I think this video is crazy. Let's say you're at this property, enjoying your night, watching Netflix, yada yada, and you hear some commotion out in the hallway. Maybe the lion bumps into your door, you think someone's knocking, whatever. You look through the peephole but don't see anything. So you open the door ever so slightly, and boom. You now have a mountain lion in your condo. What do? You probably don't have your phone, maybe you don't have shoes on, completely caught off guard, and now there's a mountain lion inside. What's your next move? I'm genuinely curious. You'd have to think fast. I guess it would depend on who's with you. If my kids and family are in there, I'm going back in regardless, but if I'm alone, I think the move is to lock the cat in there. Again, it would require some quick thinking. Let me know your tactics in the comments below. We've talked a lot about how dangerous feral hogs can be, not only to the community of farmers and agriculturalists, but to just people in general. In our next clip, we see a group of men trekking through the snow while on a hunt. Now, I don't know if they're hunting these boar, but they're hunting something. They have their rifles over their shoulders, and you can see them start running. When the camera pans behind them, a huge hog is heading straight for them, but veers off. Then another one comes barreling straight at one of the men that has fallen on the ground. Somehow the camera is still rolling, and no gunshots have been heard, I might add. And what looks like an entire family of wild boars is coming over the hill right at the guys. It looks to be like 12 to 15 of them. I'm assuming they all survived because there's a video, and man, they have quite the story to tell. Let me know in the comments if you've had any interactions with wild boars and feral hogs. Like most people, I love any inside look into wildlife, and I particularly love seeing animals and predators in action. Check this out as a wolf chases down a coyote in front of some ice fishermen. Look at the massive size difference. Coyotes are decent size, topping out at around 40 pounds, but big male wolves tip the scales around 140, 100-pound difference. I bet the coyote is glad he doesn't weigh 10 more pounds, or he would have been caught. The coyote jukes, getting the wolf off balance, and as the video ends, appears to have gotten away. Just an incredible camera capture for these guys fishing. Residents of Estes Park, Colorado became alarmed when they started seeing an elk with a mesh swing stuck in his antlers. He had been spotted a few times over a span of weeks. A local Facebook page was the first to put it on paper and reported the elk appeared to be in good health, but the swing seemed to be causing the animal some discomfort. Wildlife experts believe that the elk may have mistaken the swing for a rival, since this took place during mating season, or rut. Elk are known to engage in fierce competition for mates during this time of the year, and the swing may have been perceived as a threat. Experts also pointed out that human-made objects can be dangerous for wild animals, and it's best to avoid leaving any kind of trash or discarded items in natural areas. Local officials were trying to decide if they needed to have a professional remove the swing or let nature take its course. And ultimately, the swing would become dislodged when the elk lost his antlers. Some commenters on the Facebook post said they wanted to try to pry the swing from his antlers, but officials warned them not to. Like they said, it's too dangerous in the middle of mating season. Bucks are aggressive and are known to, quote, stand their ground in the presence of people. Let's leave this one to the professionals, guys.